Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Back on the show, want to say hello to two David Pakman Show members of the week, Lewis. Saying hello to Bradley Warwick as well as Carrie Morris. Of course, they don't know each other, but they are both inevitably linked as part of the same family as a result of being David Pakman Show members. And each of them, of course, 10 entries each into the iPad giveaway, which I have here with me. We'll be giving this thing away on the last show of June 30th. And it's going to be fantastic. I mean, somebody is going to win. And if you're looking for another really simple way to help out the David Pakman Show, if you use Amazon for any shopping at all, books or whatever else it may be, go to davidpakman.com, click the Amazon banner on the right side of the site, and bookmark it. And in the future, when you shop on Amazon, just go to that link, and you'll actually be helping to support the David Pakman Show. Lewis, you're big on books, and I know you're doing it almost daily, really.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Lewis. I am now ready to call for Justice Clarence Thomas's resignation. We've been going back and forth about this for several months, and now it's completely clear to me that his egregious conflicts of interest and his unethical behavior have gotten us to this crossroads, Lewis, and it is time for Clarence Thomas to go.
For sure.
And you know what?
Should have happened a long time ago.
You're absolutely right. And the situation has gotten so corrupt in this country that our elected officials and the media will simply look the other way while Clarence Thomas is making a mockery of judicial impartiality. Of course, we have the story from a few months ago where it was released that, number one, he was not revealing his wife's income on his tax returns, as well as the fact that when we looked into why that may be, she was doing consulting for conservative special interest groups, which were involved in cases that were heard by the Supreme Court. Obvious violation of the canons of judges, which include the appearance of conflict, the appearance of impropriety, the appearance of conflict of interest must be avoided, whether or not there is actual conflict of interest. And here I think we have both the appearance and actual conflict of interest. Do we not, Lewis?
I think so.
Justice Clarence Thomas is a walking ethics problem in a black robe. 8 months after the story of Thomas's attendance at a Koch brothers-sponsored political fundraiser, we learned that Thomas doesn't just do unethical favors for these wealthy right-wing donors that are now household names. They are also doing favors for him, Lewis, which is incredible. Leading conservative donor Harlan Crow, whose company often litigates in federal court, donated $500,000 to allow Clarence Thomas's wife to start a Tea Party group. And he once gave Thomas a $19,000 Bible that belonged to Frederick Douglass. Sounds like an inappropriate gift, does it not, given that you may be having this justice hear your cases?
No kidding.
The American Enterprise Institute, which is a conservative think tank, which frequently files briefs in Thomas's court, also gave Thomas a $15,000 gift. And we need to be calling these what they are, not gifts. We need to be calling these bribes, because that is exactly what they are. It's time for Clarence Thomas to go. And one of Thomas's benefactors has even filed briefs in the Supreme Court since giving Thomas the $15,000 gift. And Thomas has not recused himself from these cases. One example, Department of Revenue of Kentucky versus Davis. Just look it up. Just look it up. It's time for Clarence Thomas to go. The reality, however, is that I think Clarence Thomas could probably tween his pictures to the Queen of England and nothing would happen. And of course, tweenus would be to tweet pictures of your penis. Now we've just combined it. I think these guys, while many politicians believe they are untouchable, Anthony Weiner believed they couldn't touch him with the penis tweets. I think Clarence Thomas and Supreme Court justices
actually untouchable.
Basically are untouchable. I mean, it would be incredibly difficult, would it not, to actually force a Supreme Court justice to resign, regardless of what they do, unless they've committed murder. I don't know.
They might have to go to the Supreme Court, and then what happens?
Hey, they've already been bribed. Yeah, so we know what, right? It would be very difficult for any action to be taken on this.
Yeah, I think, can't they be impeached?
They can.
They can be. I think,
but they wouldn't be.
It would be by their peers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, this sort of.
And I'm guessing he's not the only one who takes bribes.
Probably not.
There's definitely a deification of Supreme Court justices in this country, and it's completely absurd. I mean, they're human beings. They're political beings too. They're not just like impartial gods that we all look up to. I mean,
But
they
this is
wear
where,
those robes.
This is where we go back to the robot thing. We should just have robots programmed with all knowledge of the law to be the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
No,
but
I disagree with that.
I disagree. Why do you disagree?
I disagree because it's exactly the human element that makes it worthwhile to have a Supreme Court, because it's not just being an arbiter of facts, it's also reinterpreting the Constitution given new things that happen in society.
I don't think these robots could even exist anyway. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, so you're backing off of that suggestion.
Well, it just couldn't possibly be done.
The poll up on davidpakman.com, and I hope you'll vote, Lewis, many, many times. Should Clarence Thomas resign from the Supreme Court because of his judicial improprieties? I'm calling for his resignation. Whether anyone will let him know of that or not, I don't know. I'm guessing similar to when David Wynn Miller said he has worked with all of the Supreme Court, and I can just ask Justice John Roberts about it. That didn't get back to him. This may not either. I don't know.
We'll see.